Hey YouTube, it's React City and Paul.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is just a Kaizen. Wait, what? This is React City, episode 15.
Okay.
React Cast.
We're somewhere.
So we actually have a fun fact for this week.
Okay.
So I was looking up a little interview of the mangaka of Jujutsu Kaisen and talking about some of his inspirations for the show. And apparently, when asked who was the inspiration of Yuji, he said his big brother.
Oh,
yeah, very nice. He said,
cool.
It's strongly inspired by my older brother, who is my direct opposite. He's someone who exceeds in everything that he does, sports, studies, etc. So that's Yuji.
Oh,
Cool.
That's cool.
It's kind of sweet.
Yeah, this also, he asks, like, will we ever know more about Yuji's parents? And it's like, yeah, I already know exactly what I want the mother to be in this story, what her role is going to be, but not sure if he wants to exploit his father yet. So, I really like that. It's like, mangaka is like, what can I introduce that's insane with this biological line?
Yes.
You see a lot of animes.
That's cool.
Do you think he gets the pink hair from his... Well, he's mentioned the mother, so do you think the mother is where he gets the pink hair?
I don't know. What's the significance of the pink?
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure... Like, he's got, like, black hair at the back, so is his hair naturally pink, or is that... like a weird lineage thing?
True, actually.
Good point.
I kind of, in the beginning, summed it up to he might have just been dyeing his hair, but it has actually never changed, has it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he could still. He's not in jail.
Just constantly dyeing his hair.
Yeah, the only thing that... I'm like, he must have a unique constitution, right? They kind of keep bringing that up, like, how can somebody withstand the might of Sukuna?
Yeah.
Like, basically taking up a part of their soul space or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's special in some way. I'm like, I just kind of assumed the pink hair was part of it.
Yeah. That's a good yeah. Because, I mean, Gojo, white hair, special.
True.
So anyone with colored hair, special.
Yeah. I mean, we know he's special because the man's first instinct when he realized he had to get rid of the finger was to eat
it. Oh my gosh.
Something's off with that man.
Something, yeah. And also, like, other instinct when, like, a sorcerer comes to the school with a thing eating your friends. He's like, run! I'm gonna jump through the window.
Through the window. Like, this guy.
I'm gonna be right there.
Yeah, he was always strong, right?
He was always strong, yeah.
The finger thing?
He was always strong.
They
He threw the bat, I think it was a baseball or something, and like,
Yeah.
and that's where Gojo first spotted him, I think.
Yeah, because everyone wanted him to try it for the sports teams.
Yes.
And he was just part of the occult club.
Yeah.
And he broke records, not trying.
Yeah.
In the practice.
Yeah. He's naturally strong. So I would say it could almost be like a half heavenly pact or something.
Oh,
Maybe we'll find out he has some sort of heavenly pact, especially since they're bringing up heavenly pact a lot with the latest arc and talking about what's his name, you know who I'm talking about?
Toby?
Tengen. Yes. So I wonder if he has some sort of heavenly pact where we'll find out what he's deficient in. Maybe it's the reason why he's such a blank slate.
Intelligence.
Maybe Tengen is his father. Oh. Maybe like a star plasma. One of the star plasmas.
One of the star plasmas, maybe.
It could go anywhere with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something else I found interesting out of this interview is this is on newsrnd.com. The way they structured this, it has the question and the answer in the same format. It doesn't separate where the question ends.
That's interesting.
And then at the very end, it has like the author of this article's little input on what they just said.
Yeah.
But none of it's separated, so they don't know when the quote ends.
Okay.
But here's something that was clear. He was asked, what was some of your influences, like mythology-wise, because it seems like there's a lot of mythologies involved in the show. He said, originally one of his influences was Evangelion. In general, I find mythology often presents tales of men and opposing gods without ever really explaining why. And he goes on to pretty much say that he likes that question in the air of why are these sides going at each other, and that's why we see it so much in Jujutsu Kaisen, because there's no objective this side is right. It's just presenting you with options. And he says to the left is Fushiguro, to the right is Itadori. Both of them are right in their own way of the way they handle things, but it's up to the audience to decide whose side they're on, really.
Yeah.
No one's explicitly wrong.
So it's like no one's right or wrong, you can only just take a side.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah, pretty interesting. We had a comment from Raul Ignacio last week saying the best fights in anime are in Rurouni Kenshin up until the Beast Titan fight with Levi
Oh, really?
in Attack on Titan. And it got me wondering, is like, has there been a show that really stood out to you in terms of fighting so far? Because we've seen quite a few shows.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying Dororo's fight scenes.
Yeah, I am too.
I'll have a proper pace. It never feels like every fight is a set length or anything. Sometimes he just cars through people.
Yeah.
Well, actually, most times he cars through people. But sometimes it feels like this is an actual threat because it takes him a while to fight him.
Yeah.
Hyakimaru, I'm talking.
Yeah. He figures out their patterns and stuff.
Like we just saw episode 8 where he fought the flying demon.
Yeah, the centipede thing.
I'm trying to think, like, I don't know if it's the best fight, but a good fight that I saw, that I remember, was in the last, I think it was the last or second to last episode of Trigun between brothers. And it was kind of, I think it was like a one-shot scene they did where they were falling through the air and they were just like going at each other around the buildings. It was really cool, that fight.
Yeah.
Well, they're falling and trying to avoid hitting the buildings.
Yeah, and each
one of them was...
Yeah, and they had different, like, they eventually ended up with like
one wing each.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, that whole scene was good. The whole second to last episode, I think it was.
It's hard for me to like pick out one. Like I can think of like interesting action scenes, but like an action fight where it's like two people are going head to head. It's hard for me to remember which one was like, oh my gosh. One that keeps coming to my head is Boku no Hero Academia, is his fight versus Overhaul.
I love that fight.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
I felt powerful. It was great.
Yeah. I thought of another one.
Yeah.
But you go first. You have one?
I was just going to say, I love that fight, especially with the ending, because it felt like when you see Overhaul looking up, and then you see Deku's face is like enraged and Ares' hair flaming behind him. You can feel like this is like the wrath of God coming down on this guy. And then bam. I love that scene.
Yeah. I thought of a great anime for fight scenes. Vinland Saga. With Thorfinn. Thorfinn's fight scenes, especially like it's the last season with the little fight scene we got with Thorfinn and Snake.
Yeah.
That was just like
cool.
That was beautiful. Like the maneuvers, you could see everything. There wasn't swish swish swish, you know? There was like somebody had to talk to an actual fighter and say, okay, how would you move your hand here, like, and draw that, you know? So it looked really good. Like maybe I think we were talking about rotoscoping in that episode. Yes. They did a couple of rotoscoping, and we're thinking, I don't know if we knew if that scene was rotoscoped or not.
I think someone in the comments said that there's a little bit of it.
Yeah, I know there was. They pointed. We saw some in the big fight between Canute's people and the other guy's people. But between Snake and Thorfinn, I think we were saying possibly it could have been rotoscope, but it looked so good. It looked more like beautiful anime, you know?
Yeah, you know, that actually reminds me of a subject that people have been arguing about a lot in the comments of new animes, is CG in animes. No, it's not quite rotoscoping, but CG has been like in a bad taste in everyone's mouths whenever it comes up, because this anime looks so good, and that scene was so good in the light novel. Why do they have to use CG for it? And I've seen examples of what they're talking about. Like for instance, Overlord Season 3, the Goblin Army looked horrendous. Like it looked like someone took a bunch of CG stills, copy pasted a goblin, copy over it, and did it everywhere. And I get why they do that, is because they know budgetary reasons usually, and or sometimes they just want to really show off scale. But I think you mentioned it before, where it just looks like so lifeless sometimes, and a way to get around that is to actually add motion to make it feel like it's alive. But a lot of older animes, not older, just like 5 years ago animes, they didn't do that, and it really hurt the overall thing. But nowadays, I kind of like it in some animes. And I was wondering if you've noticed it in any animes that you liked or particularly didn't like. Like, I actually somewhat liked it in Attack on Titan for some scenes, but in other scenes, I didn't like it. It's one of those animes where it's split.
Yeah, same for Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I feel like Attack on Titan did maybe it was just like the gap between seasons, but I feel like they did a really good job of like, and we're using CG now, but like you're not thinking about it. Like, oh, this is suddenly CG. These fights are in CG. Why is that CG? But
it felt like it was needed at that point when I saw it.
Needed, but I could understand why they used it. Because I remember like the earlier season fights, those weren't CG. Those were completely
2D hand drawn,
2D animated, and those were still really awesome. But at the same time, like we're on a different scale. We're like destroying cities and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess when I say it's needed, I kind of feel like the CG added the enormity of it for me. I'd have to see it side by side to see like what the 2D version would be, because I don't have that like crisp memory of scenes like you guys do of old seasons, so it's very vague, the old stuff to me, so I can't really compare in my head. But when I'm looking at the current, like when I'm remembering the last seasons with the Titans, with Aaron and as the fish, you know, going through, and then just that kind of like this kind of movement of like can barely move, but you know you're moving a far distance because it's so big. It kind of felt more like bumbly because of the CG to me. It kind of felt more massive because of the CG. But I was thinking of one where I went into it thinking like, oh no, and then I was like, oh, it's pleasant surprise, and that was a Key to the Exile.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was excellently done.
Excellent CG. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. And if you, I would not have pinned it. I would not have thought that CG could be done so well.
Yeah.
I would have said, no, that's something else. That's rotoscope or whatever that is. There's a man in that. You know, they did that so well. Like from the beginning when I saw like, I think you pointed out that was CG. I was like, that was CG. You're right. And then I started noticing and I started to get scared. I was like, oh no, they're gonna be using CG everywhere. But then I was like, this is good though. I like it.
Confusion.
Yeah, that's so weird. Is that your introduction to CG was actually some of the best CG in all time. And you had only had the framework of us complaining about CG.
Yes.
And then he starts like, "What are you guys complaining about? This is amazing."
Yeah. Another interesting part that they're using CG more in is Demon Slayer. Like I've noticed that. Like I noticed it mostly when they're using it on Tanjiro. Like in like even with what was it, like dragon, multiple head dragon.
Yeah, they use it on that thing. Yeah.
Like that wouldn't have bothered me, but then they used it on Tanjiro, and then I noticed.
I didn't notice it on Tanjiro at all.
Like he looks more like
rubbery.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I noticed it very starkly on the dragon, but I didn't notice it on anybody else. But you guys pointed out, I was like, oh, I need to look out for it then. But I didn't. It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah,
I actually liked it on the dragon.
Yeah,
me too.
Because it's like, what the heck is that?
And they use it on the fish too. I feel like
fish. Yeah, they use it on the fish and the vases stuff. I noticed. I was watching a video on the Iron Giant recently, and they were talking about how when CG wasn't really popular, they used CG for the giant, and it actually benefited the movie, this 2D movie, because it gave the feeling of this is something otherworldly. It's out of our frame of like what's normal. So it helped with the giant looking the way it did.
That point is kind of what I was thinking of. I almost said it before you came up with that about the fish vase thing in Demon Slayer. The CG made it feel creepy to me. It just felt like this thing that shouldn't be there, but it was good because I was like, I want to feel that about this thing because I don't like it. I want it to die. So it kind of the CG added to that scene, and it makes sense now when they used it with the Iron Giant, which is interesting because I really like the Iron Giant. It was one of my favorite movies. I didn't think that was CG. I think that was a pretty good CG job for way back when. But it makes sense that it adds the otherworldliness essence.
And I think that's really helpful when especially dealing with stuff that are supposed to be otherworldly. And that's why it works with the dragon so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just getting images for the next topic. Hopefully I didn't repeat whatever you guys had said. I couldn't hear what you were saying. I'm trying to type super quietly because it keeps drumming into the mic.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason, I completely forgot about Akira the Exile. Akira the Exile easily is my top 5, maybe top 3 shows in terms of just combat.
Oh yeah. Combat was
in that
great.
It was great.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
You could see the logic of every single move. Like the moves were not just to look cool. They looked cool, but they made sense.
And they had personality. I just remember that spider.
Spider-Bot?
Spider-Bot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It moved like a spider. Like, that was amazingly pulled off.
Yeah.
Like, how, from the very first time we saw it, that's when I think I was like, okay, I'm gonna love this CJ in the show. They were in the forest. The first time we meet Aikido, and he's just killing, and he's just like, and then it's just moving fast and like zipping, and then the legs just like, it just felt like a spider that you want to be scared of that spider.
Yeah, it's like you can see what they mean when they say he's moving so wildly. You know how it's like sometimes in animes they say that and you're like, it's just a fight.
Yes,
it's running towards you.
He just punched him in the face. What do you mean?
Yeah,
but like I can see how this would be like terrifying. Yes. It's coming towards you. It's like, what the heck is happening?
Yes.
I felt that sense of terror as we were watching it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, is this guy on our side?
Yeah, we were trying to figure that out. I was like, is that our side? Our side is losing. Oh, no, wait, it's him. Okay, we're fine.
Yes.
And then he would go into that berserk state where you could see it in his movements even more. Despite the fact he always fought like crazy.
Yeah.
You could see him get more crazy when he goes into that berserk state.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm also remembering his brother, his machine. Remember the centaur? Is a centaur thing, right? Even that one moved. Like, when we got to see it, I think we got to see it twice do some maneuvering. And that was like, that CG, I wasn't as much a fan of his CG, but it was still pretty good because of the movement that they did with it and pulled off to try to get the energy, the personality of this fighter.
It felt jarring.
Yeah.
Like, if you saw that, it's like, what is that? Oh, I need to run.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it felt like.
Like, I can't spend too much time thinking about this. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually the anime you brought up, how putting personality into CG movements helps bring it alive.
Yes.
But yeah, good fight scenes. Speaking of fight scenes, in that interview, I don't think the mangaka actually said it. That's why I didn't bring it up as a part of the interview. But the author mentions that the magic system of Jujutsu Kaisen is kind of a mix of Hunter x Hunter and World Trigger.
Oh, you still haven't seen World Trigger.
I don't know how true that is.
World Trigger. Yeah, I don't see how that mixes in, actually.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, it's in the interview list, but it's like, I don't think he actually said that. So I don't know if I can agree necessarily.
I have no idea what World Trigger is to even like agree or disagree.
I think I've seen a couple stills because she loved the anime. I saw the first 2 seasons and I fell off.
World Trigger was like in my early days of getting into anime. And like, this was, I think it was 100 and something episodes.
Oh.
I started, like, the first half I watched on my own, and then I got him into it. And then we watched the second half together, and the second half kind of fell off because they were kind of, I think what they did is like the Gymtama diagram of like the anime has gone past where the manga was in, so there was like a lot of filler and a lot of what felt like dragging.
Yeah, it
like
definitely felt dragging.
The last arc was like some weird alien that came to the planet. Vampire, energy vampire alien
it was
thing.
Another dimension. That's the people who's sending the monsters, I think.
No, I think it's just like a completely.
The people with the black horns?
No, those are the enemies that we're fighting. But the energy vampire people, remember there was like.
Oh, you mentioned this. I remember you talking about this. And you're like, what is happening?
Okay, I don't think I saw that then.
Oh, you didn't see that?
Because I stopped after the vampire chick and the guy came over for help.
Yeah. That was the last bit of the first or the second half of the first season for the second season.
Then I stopped and we saw the next one.
Yeah. And then it continued like that never happened because it was completely inconsequential. Made no sense. And then it continued with the tournament arcs, and you love tournament arcs. The tournament arcs was so much fun. The fighting was so good because it's very strategy based because it's like team against team. I loved it so much. It was so good.
Yeah, and there's one dude in the tournament arc. I think it was in the next season, the tournament arc?
So some of there was some tournament in the first season.
Okay, then that's probably what I saw.
The tournament is about to end, I think.
Because I remember they stopped in the middle of the tournament to go do something, and we're like, we're gonna pick this up later, and then didn't. No, but I remember one dude had one of the most interesting powers, which is kind of broken, where if you fought him and he lived, you're probably gonna die.
Oh yeah, he's like a perfect memory type thing.
He sleeps and he adapts perfectly to whatever he did. He saw.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Is he a good guy?
Yeah.
Yes, luckily.
Okay.
All the good guys have crazy powers, but his was probably one of the best. Where it's like eventually he's just gonna be the best fighter.
Yeah.
No,
because they're mandated to do like practice fights of like best of 10, and he has a thing where he challenges white-haired dude who's the best fighter. He's like, hey, all right, so I have one stipulation. We get to 5, I take a break, and then we go more. So he takes like a 15-minute nap, and then he beats him for all the rest of them.
Wow.
Like he's just gonna be the best eventually.
Yeah. Does anybody know that this is how his power works?
Yeah.
Everyone talks about their powers.
Okay. Because, I mean, that sounds like something you should keep to yourself if you want to become the best. Like, nobody's going to give you a break. You're like, no, I'm fighting to my death.
But merchandising.
I did like that. Like some of the weird powers in World Trigger. Like some people just have like human enhancements where that guy just learns better after he sleeps. There's another person who he just has really good hearing.
Right.
And nobody else saw the value in having him on their team other than that same guy. He's the captain of his own team, the guy who learns quickly. He brought him onto the team because he saw the value that he has such good hearing. He can hear levels below him in buildings like across streets and stuff. He figured that out and he's like, okay, this is like basically he's our scout. We have to have him on our team.
Yeah.
Like figuring out like what's actually beneficial.
Oh, he's smart at that.
Yeah.
Extremely smart.
It's very cool. I like those kinds of things.
Now back to the question: what magic is in World Trigger?
There's no magic. It's like
I was just wondering, what if it's that one episode with the energy suckers, and that episode from World Trigger is what is based.
The energy is in the show. Like they've got the black energy. I don't remember. It's not energy. That's Transformers.
I think it's just called a trigger. It's called.
They got triggers, yes.
So you're born with like a set amount of trigger energy, and depending on that amount will like kind of make
you're talking about the box.
This black trigger.
Your ability to activate whatever power you're using bigger or better.
So that's the magic.
Yeah, but having a black trigger, it like puts an exponent on whatever power you had. So a black trigger is like when somebody dies, they might like infuse all of their trigger energy into like a specific item, and if somebody else is compatible with that item, it affects their own trigger and it exponents whatever power they have. So I guess in that way there's like
technicalities. Because Kaizen got technicalities.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like conditions on stuff.
Lineage, yeah.
And like once what you're born with, there's absolutely no way to increase it. Yeah. Unless you get lucky and you're compatible with the black trigger.
I guess that works with Kaizen because they've talked about that is that what you're born with is what you're born with. There's no improving how much you've got. You know. Yeah.
Just working better with it.
You know, it would make sense that something could be based, like Jujutsu Kaisen could be based off this show, like based on some of the things you're saying, because they're so like specific. Obviously, if it's someone who is learning to do a craft, they're gonna hyper analyze every other craft that's done. Like if you're just a consumer, you know, watching the show, you're gonna miss so many details about the show. Like unless you go back and think about it. With that a mangaka who's learning and trying to make his own, it's like, oh, that specific detail of how this works, perfect for my show, you know?
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, someone tries to make a cursed power system chart. Curse. Oh, he actually did misspell it.
Cursed.
Look at that.
Oh, for Jujutsu Kaisen?
Now the thing is, there's a couple of people already responded and are saying like there's a couple things wrong with this. I'll put it up on the screen for you though. But just the fact that it's got so much structure to it and you can logically see where things go, I just think that's very cool, very interesting. A lot of work went into this. A lot of people were like, you know what, I'm just gonna take your word for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, bro.
There's a lot of words here. Don't know about that.
I was like, I kind of wanted to read this and try to understand it a bit more, but at the same time, I didn't want to like accidentally get a spoiler. I don't think it actually is one after I saw some of the comments. But again, some people have said there's a couple things wrong with this. But yeah.
But those are probably people saying it like this. There's a couple things wrong with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
I understand exactly what you mean.
But yeah, just having a system that's robust like this really tells you about the mangaka, because like he said in the interview, it's like there's a lot of these things where they present problems between the groups and they never explain why. He's somebody who likes to have the why. It makes sense why he would have a structured system where you can see exactly what leads to what.
Yes.
Though I will say the Heavenly Pact is the hacks of this anime. Every anime has a hacks.
Yeah.
And the Heavenly Pact just circumvents the whole system, and you can give them whatever power you want.
Yeah.
They are this special part of the grid for Nen types.
Yes. Every anime has that.
The specialist, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is true.
We also have a couple of interesting news stories. So we actually have a date for Attack on Titan.
Ooh.
It's going to be September 10th. That's what I asked earlier.
Oh,
okay,
we got
September
everything
10th.
going on. What day is
special?
that? What day is that?
It says it's a Sunday.
Is this like the final?
Well, it says the final chapter is part 1.
Oh, it's just part 1.
No. That was the one we saw March 3rd.
Oh, okay.
Which, can I believe that was this year? We saw it March 3rd this year.
Doesn't feel like
It
it.
feels so long ago.
Yeah.
It feels like maybe they mean last year March or something. No, it was
It
this
was
year.
this year, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't the special we watched?
I mean, yeah, it was a special.
Yeah, but it wasn't multiple episodes. It was one long special.
Yeah, 1 hour special.
Yeah. So what we're coming? The next thing is another special, or
Probably an hour special. You don't like it in hour form?
She's waiting for the next season.
I want the final season.
Are you excited? We literally left off on them about to fight Eren. So
Yeah, I
I
feel.
can't imagine there's a third
No,
chapter.
they started. They started the fight.
Yeah, they jumped out of the plane.
And I feel like what's his name?
They were saving the
faced
people.
Somebody literally reached Eren, not Eren, the Beast Titan. I forget. I think it was not Levi. Somebody.
Reiner is on him.
Reiner, is it
Yeah.
Reiner that jumped on the Beast Titan? Who's on Eren? They're on Eren.
They're all on Eren.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the
Yeah,
final.
one flew off. They're on Eren.
They're on the final. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing
There
else.
can't be a third part.
If there's another special, they're gonna do a flashback.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're gonna see like other parts of the world and how they're reacting to it, and maybe other Eldians in other part of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there should be other Yeah, but they're going to be dying too because Eren's just protecting who's on the island.
Yeah.
But I mean, the people who are right now, Onyakun's landing at, they're aliens. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Most of them are aliens actually. But yeah.
Oh no, they are all Eldians because that is Annie's
Family, yeah, and
got them
the
out.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm counting also the guards.
Oh yeah,
There's some guards. Yeah.
We're
I
just
remember the one guy was like, if we can make it out of this, I will never treat you bad again.
Yeah,
I won't be
like,
racist anymore. I won't be racist, please.
He's like, this is our what is it? Our what do you call penance?
Penance, yeah.
It's like this happened because of me.
Paul, I did nothing.
Paul.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I want to see what they do with the ending. That's so crazy because it was like controversial when it came out, but apparently they've changed a few things with anime already. So I'm very excited to learn what they changed and what the original was that upset people so much.
Me too. That's gonna be an epic podcast.
I think that might be why they're delaying so much. Is they're trying to figure out how to rework it in a way that it still makes sense with the original. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably it.
And not break all the fan theories.
Yes, and not even that. It's like it's just like they are trying to. They have to make it work because this is their epic hurrah after over 10 years.
Oh yeah.
So they got to do it right. And they failed in the manga. They're like, oh crap.
My second guess for the ending of Attack on Titan because it just popped in my head.
Okay.
Eren Phantom menaces all of the aliens. Everybody dies. Just drops to the floor and dies, and now he's like, everybody lives in
here,
spirit world
because
I make a world here.
Like he teleports their mind into his.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they die
in real life.
Real life, yeah.
He could do that, but is it a happy land in there? And that's the question.
He could just mind
do whatever you want.
All to be like, this is the world now. You don't remember the other stuff.
I mean, Ymir can make anything.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah, that's true. Although she only ever works with sand.
For millennia, because like time in there's this
it doesn't
disconnected.
Make sense. Yeah. It's not linear.
You can spend like 1,000,000 years in there, and like 2 seconds of real life happen or something like that.
Or the opposite.
Or the opposite. Yeah. I also wanted to. I don't know if there's really a whole lot to say about this. Just Disney Plus is following Netflix and they're restricting the password sharing on Disney Plus and Hulu. And they're also raising the prices of the ad-free tiers because Netflix introduced you can now have ads for a lower price. Yeah. But everyone's so used to just not having ads at all on Netflix because they're paying for a service.
Yeah, that's what they pay for though. Yeah. It's like to not have the ads.
Yeah. The thing, the what is it? The logic that I'm seeing here is you're paying to see shows. And then you can pay for an ad-free experience of seeing shows. Because there's some shows you literally can't see anywhere except in Netflix, you know? Yeah. So they're probably saying, you want to see the show? You want to see the show? Come on over. But I'll give you a lesser price, but you got to watch ads. Yeah. So I think that's probably the logic they're going with. Not that I agree with it, but I was been trying to rack my brain, like, what are they convincing themselves about that this should work?
Money.
Yeah.
It's like, but money.
And gas stations. Get what I'm saying? Get what I'm putting down here? Yeah, it's like, you know, when one gas station raises the price and all the others like, hey, we could get away with that.
Yeah.
You know, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. You should have said that first.
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing.
He's like, let's cause chaos.
We did actually recently see someone push back against industry standards with Baldur's Gate 3. You heard about that at all?
No.
Baldur's Gate is a very old RPG franchise, and it took forever for Larian Studios to even get the people who own D&D let the original studio make Baldur's Gate, the Baldur's Gate 2, I think like in the 90s and 2000s. And Larian was like, hey, we want to make Baldur's Gate 3. We don't trust anybody. You're not getting your hands on this. And so then they made Divinity, Original Sin 2, which was one of the greatest RPGs ever made. Mm-hmm. And so
who made that?
Larian Studios made that.
Oh,
they said, fine, we'll just make something.
Yeah.
And then the D&D guys saw that and they're like, okay, you guys actually put your heart and soul into this. You can try it. Mm-hmm. But it spent like 5 years. I don't remember. I want to find the exact number. They spent forever making this game. It was in development for 6 years.
Wow. 6 years.
A very long time. And yeah, it was
if it
early
has
access
any bugs, I'm gonna be pissed.
It does have a few. But it was in early access as well for 3 years of that 6-year development time. But the game is considered one of the most complete products right now.
Oh wow!
It is incredibly deep. It goes.
We love complete games.
We love complete.
Yeah, and what was interesting is you saw a bunch of devs of other studios, not outright complaining, but they're like, listen, this is unrealistic. We can't do this. And it's saying, please don't. Someone literally said, don't hold other RPGs to this standard. It's unrealistic. We cannot do this. It is not fair. And I kind of understood what he's saying.
Yeah, because it's like, if they could do this, why can't I make my people do it?
It's not financially viable.
6 years.
But there are other people who are actually very snarky about it, and they're like, this won't sell. That's what we've been taught. You're not allowed to make games like this because it doesn't do well. And right now it's one of the biggest games on Steam. It's selling really well. It had like 800,000 people one day playing it at the same time.
Wow.
Incredibly well done. And everyone's supporting them because not only is it a great game, they're selling it at the fixed price. There's no DLC right now. There's no add-ons at all, and they said we will not add any microtransactions. They had a pop-up in the front of the game. No microtransactions.
Oh, microtransactions. I thought you said Michael Jackson's. I was like, no Michael Jackson's. Is this a word that I should learn?
Yeah. But yeah, they had a thing in the beginning where you open up the game. It says, we do not believe in giving unfinished products. This is the final thing. There are no microtransactions. We'll never add it at all. Yeah. And it was kind of a middle finger to everyone else.
I like it.
And so it was you know who you are when they put that out there.
Yeah.
But
I'm so proud of them.
Awesome.
That's hard though. 6 years.
Very hard.
3 years of early access. Dang.
Yeah.
That's almost like Attack on Titan like standards there.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I'm proud of them because I feel like this was a struggle to make happen, but I think it is possible. Like people, I disagree with those who are saying don't hold us to this standard. Mm-hmm. I think it's not the devs' fault to be held to this standard. It is the company.
Yes.
The company needs to keep the standard. Like, no, we're gonna make complete finished games. We're gonna have a high standard of games that we want to give to the fans. Mm-hmm. So if we're gonna make something, either we keep the scope small of the type of game we're gonna make, or if we say we're gonna make this great thing, make the great thing and take as long as you need. You know, just change the game. Change the game. Yeah. You can do that, guys.
Of people who have the majority of people are just tired of buying incomplete or broken games.
Yeah.
Like if your game is just complete, it's the fact that that's like a bonus is like really sad.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's very sad. Like, oh my gosh, what's so great about this game? They finished it.
Yeah, actually.
What?
That's crazy.
That, and there's no like random game breaking bugs. It's been debugged.
Crazy.
Delouse.
So tell me, what is this game about?
So it's about this fantasy setting. You know Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's Dungeons and Dragons universe. You've got the standard fantasy tropes. You make a party. I haven't gotten actually to play the game yet. I know Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, but you make a party, you level them up, you can change certain stats on them, you can get abilities, and a lot of the game is about talking to people and learning about them and making relationships with people. But there's also a central plot line. I think a lot has to do with mind flayers, I believe. They're like the octopus head guys who can control minds and stuff like that.
Ooh.
I think the game is premised around that. Well, mind flayers are a very popular monster in Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
I was gonna say octopuses are scary.
They are.
They are, and you know they are smart.
Yeah, look at that big brain.
Probably aliens.
Like if there's any creature on Earth that would be an alien, it's an octopus.
How would you compare this to RuneScape? RuneScape is like
it was a multiplayer game.
Yeah,
I never.
I love RuneScape.
I think I watched you play RuneScape, and I was like, ooh,
I tried to get you all into RuneScape. It was like, play with me. I even loved the start of that game. Like, just starting over. Like, I started over so many times. Like, I'm just going to start over again with nothing. It was so fun. I love that game.
My only memory, because I was so young, of playing RuneScape was I was trying to get someone to give me their armor for hay. And it was just like, I didn't know how this game worked.
Yeah, it was
Nothing
hard.
was explained to me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
that was hard because like figuring out how to play the game was hard. I remember that's the first time I heard the word noob. Because somebody called me that. I was asking for help and like, noob.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a hardcore server because when you died, you dropped all your stuff.
Yeah, you basically, that's why I started over so many times.
Yeah, and I walked up to some dude who had a lot of armor, and I was like, hey, how do you get armor? And he wasn't saying anything, so I offered trade, and I said, hey, give me all your stuff. And he just was on that screen for like 5 minutes, and they just walked away. I don't know. I didn't know how to do anything.
I can just imagine like a little 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Hey for your things, sir.
It's like, here is water. Give me a diamond encrusted armor.
See, but he missed out. He could have had an apprentice, and we could have gone on a training arc, and we would have been legends.
It would have been amazing.
He didn't give me his stuff. But
Missed out on his plot.
But yeah, we've got that. That's very cool. This kind of circles back to Jujutsu Kaisen in that it is about Jujutsu Kaisen. And so we just finished. Did we talk about this last time? I don't think we did.
No, I don't think so.
It's delayed till end of the month.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get back with a new arc. It's going to be a new arc. We're probably definitely going to get a new OP and outro. Are you excited about the group coming back? Because I mean, I really enjoyed our stay with Gojo.
I loved it. Yeah.
But I get why we leave.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I've gotten everything I wanted, I think.
Yeah.
I don't feel like but wait, I wanted to know, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing. I got everything I wanted.
It's like going into a new store and you're like, ooh, see all the things.
I'm done.
And then you're like, okay, I've seen all the things now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to Target.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the familiar stuff.
Yeah. Even the end of the last episode was so, like, I love the feeling, especially after seeing little Megumi and then older Megumi being all...
It's like, oh, you're back.
Yeah.
I know about you now.
And the big smile Gojo had looking at all of them.
Yeah,
So sweet. I'm like, oh, Dad. His dad looking at all his kids.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, he actually is his dad because he knew him since such a young age.
Like maybe a 10-year age difference. Probably less.
Yeah.
Between
Gojo and Megumi.
Really? Well, actually, yeah.
Yeah, because he was a teen. Yeah.
He
you're right.
would have been 17 because it was a year later by the end of the episode.
Okay, so more like an older brother then. Yeah. I'm excited to see them again. I really want to see what direction they go with Yuji because I feel like Yuji, we got the whole black flash thing. Where you can release energy within like 0.000
Yes, and he figured it out like that.
And do like 6 of them. No one's ever seen more than 3.
Yeah. That was amazing.
But the thing is, after seeing the flashback with Gojo and all these heavenly restrictions, it kind of feels like power scaling, where we're learning these intricate techniques and these individual moves, but if we go back in time and we see what Gojo's doing, they're just using like Megazords, you know what I'm saying? Like we're seeing the huge powers, tiny level abilities, and then we're going over here to see hand-to-hand combat. It's kind of what it feels like. Not to say that it's a bad thing, but it does make me feel like we're not anywhere near
the level we need to be.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Maybe that's the point. Like they want to kind of like temper. Like you think Yuji's awesome, but he's just like a speck in the universe right now.
And to that end, I guess Yuji is also still just getting started.
Yeah,
it's like it's his first. Within his first 3 months, he has like died and almost died like several times.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And Black Flash.
And Black Flash.
Nanami was like, masters kind of hope to see it once or twice in their life.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to talk about that, like in this coming season.
The fact that he did the Black Flash.
It's like,
I don't think so.
Did anybody see it?
Only Toto saw it. Toto.
Saw it.
But Toto is a great, like, he'll tell everybody. Like, you know, my brother!
The way he said it, remember?
Brother!
He said it in English every time. Brother.
My brother. Yes, oh my gosh. And the fact that Yuji just got, like, flushed down the toilet into this, like, he just completely went with it.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he's like, I don't know what happened,
like
man.
He's drunk.
So, something weird happened to me.
That's why it's called an infectious personality.
Yeah.
And I also hope we get to see actually a little bit about Toto's background, because they seated the biker lady.
Yes, and they brought her back in this arc.
Hopefully we see her again. I don't think I actually told you guys, apparently, because I wanted to bring her for next week, which never came. She was the only special grade in all of Jujutsu Kaisen world for a long time. That's why she introduced herself to them. And she's like, let's get along as special grades. Because they were new.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting.
Cool.
So we'd love to find out, lady, what your power is that you never use.
Yeah, I'm still guessing that she's like an agent of fate.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think
it would make sense.
I think once you become a special grade, you kind of ascend in a way.
Yeah,
it's like you're above. You're playing and Ghetto's like playing a whole new game.
Yeah,
like I'm just saying, like the way you see the world is different from the way the students see the world. You know? Yeah, and Gojo definitely did. He actually, I don't know, he's like a saint.
Yeah, like
he's a saint of combat.
With the like whole like the way you see the world change kind of thing. It's like I can imagine that's like super true, because while other people are like, I am going to destroy the world, like they can only hope that their plan works and they can like continue build machines. Gojo can actually destroy the world.
He could if he was evil. Yeah, and he was close. Like if Geto had realized that he was so close, how close he was, like when he was using him as a moral compass.
After
Star like, should we kill everybody? We could kill everybody, right? Let's do it.
Like if Gojo was like, let's just like start destroying the world, I'm pretty sure he would have.
Yeah. Well, Geto actually still had a hold on a string of hope at that point. So I think if Gojo had snapped there, I think Geto would not have snapped. I think he would have been, because he would have had a reason to come back. No, he needs to save his friend. But Gojo was okay. He came back on his own, and then Geto was left to kind of wither away.
Yeah.
And honestly, for someone with such good eyesight, I'm surprised Gojo didn't see where Geto was going.
No, yeah.
Like, they had a whole year. They weren't around each other as much anymore, but you couldn't tell something was off with him. No. Like, he was always not talkative, but he was always present in the conversation. He's disheveled. His bag's under his eyes. Yeah. He hasn't been participating very much, and he doesn't say anything to all your new powers that he just showed off.
Yeah.
Like, I guess Gojo was kind of not quite self-absorbed, more like self-centered. Where he was
That's what I think it is.
All the things he was doing and all he's trying to do.
That's what I was thinking is, and I'm wondering if that's the reason he's become so, like, kind of paternal to his because he missed that. Like, he didn't realize what was happening right in front of him because he was so absorbed with himself. And he's been like that, I think, even before. For so long, it's all about himself and just making himself happy and messing with people and all of that. So maybe that was the reason he became the way he is now.
And something else has happened to make him hate the masters. Like, he was always disrespectful.
Oh,
he seems like aggressively, I hate you guys.
Yeah.
We're talking with the older people in the organization.
Yeah,
I wonder if
yeah.
it has something to do with Ghetto. Or maybe it's more due to Star Plasma. A combination of both, maybe?
Maybe Gojo wanted to like reach out to him and like maybe use the school to somehow reach out to him, and nobody wanted to do it. Maybe they were like politics, and then he started to hate them because of that. Because maybe they were like trying to rein Gojo in from going after Ghetto or something. I don't know.
We still do have to deal with how was Tengen okay after all that.
Yeah. Well, remember the girl just said.
Well, I know what you said. It's just it seems like it was
planned.
Miraculous.
Yeah.
Also, the thing that I kept wanting to bring up in the middle of the season that I remembered from last season, but I didn't want to because I thought it would be a spoiler. It would have been a spoiler because in the first season, Geto mentions that Tengen is now so old he can't even move, which means he hasn't gotten another vessel.
Oh.
So does that mean because at the end of this season that we just saw, Geto was told that there's going to be another star plasma. Do you think he starts killing the star plasmas?
Maybe because but I don't know why he would do that. Because doesn't he want more Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerers and less normal people? So what's the benefit of getting rid of Tengen?
Well, Tengen is a protector of.
Yeah, he's a barrier.
Basically a barrier.
So just to stop him from being a barrier, I guess. Okay, that would make sense.
If Tengen goes down, everyone's vulnerable.
That's true. That makes sense.
And he's responsible for most of the veils.
Right. But yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. I'm excited for that. Excited for Attack on Titan.
Yes.
We're coming up to 10,000 subscribers real soon.
Yes. And we want to celebrate somehow. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas.
Yes. Give us some ideas. Put your ideas in the comments. Whether it's like a watch party or something, or just put them all the ideas.
Yeah.
Give us.
We have a couple ideas, but give us more.
Yeah, something I like the idea of is doing a live streamed reaction to something, like in a way an uncut reaction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Premiere
cool.
of some kind.
Or even like play a game again, like about all of the animes we've ever watched on the channel. We could play that game we always said we're gonna play with our notes to see if we figure out what does this mean. I don't know. We could come up with something.
Anime version of Scribble.io. In Scribble where you write.
I think you
write names of something and you have the audience vote.
I think.
Yeah, we'd have to figure out how to implement that, but that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Give us the ideas. Write them in the comments, please.
You go on ahead, guys. But guys, thank you everyone for being here. Guys, if you like your time here, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Remember, you can check Patreon out down below if you want to see these 2 weeks ahead, or you want to see other shows a week ahead, like Dororo, which is out right now, or uncuts of anything that we do. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the city. Goodbye.
Bye.